Hey, it's time for the Jesse T Show. Good to be back with you, my friends. Running a little bit late tonight. Just been a long, busy day here and successful one. So we had a great day here in Southern California. The weather is changing. Thanksgiving is just around the corner. And thanking God and thanking this great nation for being the wonderful place I was born into. And this great country that we live in is something to have gratitude and appreciation and fight for. It is the greatest place on the planet Earth to live. There is nobody or nowhere better to live on God's blue green earth than the United States of America. I've been to 43 nations, and unless of course you're a multi-billionaire and you have the ability to live anywhere you want and have no country, because billionaires have no country because they have all the money in the world. They don't even need passports to land their jets anywhere. They just need to tell them they're coming. But if you are like everybody else, you need to have a good place to live. And America is the finest land that God ever created. Geographically, it is in the best spot of any other landmass in the world. I've always been a proponent for decades and decades and decades that we don't need anybody, really. We don't need anybody to survive. This is all fabrication thrust upon us by those that want us to believe that we can't survive without the rest of the world. And I have always been a proponent, dead set against that. We have more natural resources, more fresh water, more trees, more gold and silver, untapped riches of the natural kind in this country than anywhere else. The best climate, the most ingenious people. We live in a nation that I think these last couple of generations have lost the understanding of just how great a place this is to live. I've always said that I believe that Americans should, at least one time in their 20s, go to at least one nation outside this country, I don't really care where it is, and live there for a little while and understand what even civilized nations have to do and don't have compared to America. We take so many things for granted in this country. It's pretty amazing. And we don't give enough gratitude to our flag, our music, our national anthem. We don't honor the president's office anymore. You may not agree with the man in office, but you honor the office anyway. That's what guys like Jim Acosta have no understanding about, that there is an honor system of ethic and morality that you must uphold in civility, in courtesy and manners. And I'm glad to see that new rules are put on the books for the press corps, for people like Jim Acosta. His last name is like he accosts people. And he hopefully will live by those rules, and if he won't, then he can be thrown out of there for good with the new rules. So I like those new rules that the White House has put up. We have to get back to understanding that if you want communism and socialism, and you want tyranny, and you want to live in a country like that, then you should go live somewhere like that. There's Venezuela, there's Iran and North Korea, there's Russia and China. There's all kinds of nations that have that type of leadership. Many nations on the African continent have dictators. I think that if you want to live in that kind of realm and reality, you should go live in those countries and leave us. The country won't miss you. We won't miss you. Don't worry. Americans have to understand that we really have been blessed. And this country was built on Christian morals because of the Protestant Reformation, the Protestant Reformation of 1511. I've explained that in previous videos on why America is not like Europe. Because the Catholic Church, the Vatican, didn't get their greedy little hands in this country and its formation. Because of Martin Luther and the Protestant Reformation in 1511 and the Council of Trent in 1541, when the Dark Pope and the Jesuit order was created to kill, rape, murder, pillage, and take back what Martin Luther was blamed for by the Dark Pope, and that is losing wealth and dominance for the Vatican, because Martin Luther believed that your way to God was through faith and not through encumbrances or not through money paid to the Vatican. So all the kings and potentates in Europe figured that one out quick and stopped paying money, their tribute, to the Vatican. And it took the Vatican 30 years to figure out what to do with this, and that was the Council of Trent, 1541, and they created a ninja-type Black Ops warrior group that really are satanic. When you look at their symbology and the things that they wear, they're satanic, evil. We came about when there was the ability to have a Christian understanding, not Muslim, not Catholic, not Jewish, not Buddhist, not Taoist, not Zoatric, not Hindi, but Christian. Judeo-Christian, because the Jewish Torah is very similar to the Old Testament. They just, of course, believe that the Son of God hasn't returned. But we were a nation that had that chance. We were a nation that had the chance to have two great oceans between us and the rest of the crazy world. We weren't affected. We were a nation that spoke one language, and it was going to be German, actually. It was one vote away from being German. Benjamin Franklin cast that vote. We were a nation that worked hard and paid the price for success. But the fact that men and women had the chance to become successful. Slaves weren't introduced to this nation from the beginning. There was indentured servitude. The Irish were the first enslaved people in this country to indentured servitude. If they wanted to come to America, they had to put in so many years for free labor for their master. Slavery did create itself, but then we rid ourselves of it. Thankfully, because of Abraham Lincoln and our bringing the nation back together, and the Emancipation Proclamation. The KKK was started by the Democrats, and so were Jim Crow and all the horrendous things. We were a nation that understood that no matter where we came from in the world, we were going to be united against everybody else. We got to get back to that kind of stuff. I think we've kind of led astray of that. That's what our New York gangster president, Donald Trump, is trying to do. And I call him now the gangster president because he's a freaking gangster. I got no problem with that. I really don't. You got like the 5 crime families, the Gambinos, it'll come to me in a second. But the 5 crime families of New York City, well, we have 5 crime families in this country. You probably didn't know that. We have 5 crime families in the world. You probably didn't know that. We have the spiritual crime family of the Vatican, which the leader is the dark pope, not the white pope. We have the financial crime family of the world, which is the Rothschild, Vatican, English monarchy, Bank of England crime family. We have the military crime family in the world, which is the United States of America. We have the secret society in the shadows of darkness crime family, and that's the Black Ops and the CIA and the FBI and the secret police agencies. We have our crime families. One of them is the banking and insurance entities and the corporations. They all are heads of their crime families. I always said we have to have somebody that wasn't a politician to fight these people because they're experts. And then along comes Donald Trump, a New York gangster. I mean, he was raised with John Gotti and the Queens, for God's sakes. He's my New York gangster crime family boss, and I like him because it takes that kind of crime family boss, a godfather, to be able to beat all the other 5, 6 crime families out there and beat them at their own game, because he knows their game and he's one step ahead of them, and he's smarter to think around their game and inside their game and outside their game to get what he needs to get done. And that's why we're winning again. That's why we're winning on so many fronts. Now, you don't have to believe that. You can believe whatever the hell you want to believe, but the bottom line is we are. The stock market's up and down. It's always going to have its cycle. It's going to be bull, bear, bull, bear, bull, up and down, sideways and inside and out. That's business. As long as you got good jobs and you got extra money to pay off your bills, take care of your family, things should be going great. How come CNN and the demon crazy crime family isn't broadcasting too much about the caravan? Because the Mexicans in Mexico are kicking their asses. Because in Tijuana, there's 3,000 or 4,000 of them, and DHS has said that has targeted 500 of them being MS-13 members. This is why you don't hear the demon crazy CNN and MSNBC and all those crazy progressive one world order, new world order, one government, one economy, social communists. That's a crime family. Raising any kind of words about it now, because the Mexicans in Mexico are taking back their country from the illegal criminals that invaded their country from Honduras and El Salvador and Guatemala. They don't like them, and I'm telling you here now. The demon crazy's here. The DNC doesn't want to talk about that because the Mexicans are kicking ass. Just go on Mexican broadcasting channels on the internet and watch. The Tijuana Mexicans, man, they're not messing around. And I'm going to tell you this right now. You don't want to get pissed off Mexicans pissed off at you when you're in Mexico and you're not even supposed to be in their country. It's their country. They already have enough problems. They don't need any more problems you're bringing to them. And if the police and the federales and the politicians and the mayors and the drug cartels and the president and their Congress and their Senate and their judicial system isn't getting paid off handsomely by somebody, they're going to shun and turn their backs, walk away, and them Central Americans are going to get their ass killed. Watch, that's coming in Mexico. Mexico don't mess around. Mexicans don't mess around, people. The Mexicans living in Mexico aren't the Mexicans that are living here in America. Let me tell you, there's two vastly different types of Mexicans. The one that become Americanized in America and come to America illegally or legally, either way. They live here for a little while and they find out, well, hey, it's pretty nice here. But the Mexicans living in Mexico, they got a hard life, man. And they don't need anybody else messing with their life and making it harder. But they don't talk about that, do they? Oh, no. Hey, here's another crime family. Diane Frankenstein's husband gets the contract for the high-speed rail in California, which the average speed is going to be about 55 miles an hour. They're not going to go 200 miles an hour through the city of Los Angeles. Are you kidding me? Please. The guy who gets the contract's never built a rail system in his life. Diane Frankenstein's husband, Igor, hasn't done anything like that. Yeah, he's a developer, but he hasn't developed a high-speed rail. Why don't we give it to somebody that knew how to build high-speed rails, for God's sakes? There's so much waste there, Diane Frankenstein. What a Frankenstein bitch she is. You see her back somebody up into the wall during the election? Unbelievable. And Pigalicious Pigalosi's worried about keeping her position as the head of Congress in the majority party, Speaker of the House. They don't want that old battle axe anymore. The young social commies, progressive lunatics, that they want to get their money, their greedy rat bastard hands on the millions and billions of dollars so they can all become multi-millionaires. That's a crime family. I'm glad we got our New York crime gangster. We got our New York gangster in the house doing the gangster thing. I got no problem with that. None whatsoever. In fact, I wish he'd be more of a New York gangster, actually. I wish he would take down Clinton, Bush's, Obama. Look, he's going to have a hard time taking down the Obamas. I mean the Bushies. Because their crime family goes back 1,000 years. He's going to have an easy time taking down the Clinton crime family and the Obama crime family. Because Clintons have done so much stuff. I mean, they're going to go down. And I hope the new DOJ temporary headmaster fries Comey and Clinton. But you didn't know this. I said this when this first came out in the Arab Spring. Hillary emails reveal NATO killed Gaddafi to stop Libyan creation of gold-backed currency. I said this from the beginning. She knew about it. The Hillary emails truly are the gifts that keep on giving. While France led the proponents of the UN Security Council resolution that would create a no-fly zone in Libya, it claimed that its primary concern was the protection of Libyan civilians. Considering the current state of affairs alone, one must rethink the authenticity of this concern. As many conspiracy theorists claimed, one of the real reasons to go to Libya was Gaddafi's plan to go on the gold dinar standard. One of the 3,000 Hillary emails released by the State Department on New Year's Eve, where real news is sent to die quietly, of course, has revealed evidence that NATO's plot to overthrow Gaddafi was fueled by, first, their desire to quash the gold-backed African currency, and second, the Libyan oil reserves. The email in question was sent to Secretary of State Hillary Clinton by her unofficial advisor, Sidney Blumenthal, titled France's Client and Gaddafi's Gold. Man, she knew all about it. The spring, Arab summer, spring, whatever you wanted to call it. That's why they toppled it. They want to institute a centralized banking system. Before we went to Iraq, there were 9 countries that did not have a centralized banking system. After we left Afghanistan, there's only 2. That's Iran and North Korea. Oh yeah, Russia and China, they're owned by the globalists. They have a centralized banking system, which is run by the IMF, which is run by the Rothschilds and the Vatican. And the English monarchy, there it is. All kinds of crime families. I love my New York gangster president. Yeah, we needed that kind of guy to understand and take these people out. Hillary Clinton must answer key email questions federal judge orders. She's on the verge of going down. And she's not going to go down alone. Watch what she does. She snitches and rats on the Obamas. Watch. And the Bushies. But the Bushies are powerful. Their crime family goes back 1,000 years. Just check out the black nobility of Europe. And it's not about the pigmentation of your skin. Just check that out online. You probably have a year's worth of reading there, maybe 5 years before. I'm still reading the stuff out of there that I've been reading for 15 years that I never knew. So tell me, why does the fake news media on the progressive left not talk about all the African American men and women who are leaving the demon crazy party and becoming Republicans? Tell me why they're not talking about that. I'll tell you why, because it doesn't fit their agenda of hatred, bigotry, prejudice, discrimination. That's why. Many black Americans are leaving because the Republicans freed us. That's what they say. Republicans fought our equal rights. That's so many black Americans in the movements that are out there right now, walk-away movement and other movements. Republicans didn't own slaves. Gee, what a concept, people. Why don't you understand the real historical truth? In 1870, Republicans elected the first black man, but it wasn't until 1968 that the Democrats elected a black woman to represent them in Congress. In 1870, Republicans elected the first black man. But it wasn't until 1968 that the demon crazies elected a black woman to represent them in Congress. Maybe those are some reasons why black people in America today are leaving that crazy party, huh? You guys really want socialism? This Cortez dum-dum? Can you believe her? She's Looney Tunes. She's an economics major. Oh my goodness. Can you imagine her running your bank? She has no historical significance about anything. She's a socialist. That's a fancy word that Lenin, who created the word socialism, for a fancy public relations word he could sell to the Russian people instead of calling it communism, because that's all it is. You need to read about Lenin. You need to read about Stalin and how he poisoned and took Lenin out. And then after World War II, killed about 35 million of his own people, purged his society, like Mao killed about 100 million of his own people. Communists, don't you love them? Socialists, don't you love them? Venezuela, most of those people, they have more oil in Venezuela than air blowing through Mount Everest. They had a democratic society going on there. And all of a sudden, the globalist elitists didn't want that. Turned them into a social communist nation. Socialism. And look what it's done to the people. It's killing millions of them.
Once upon a time, every student of history, and that meant pretty much
I'm telling you, if we let these Islamic Muslim nutcases infiltrate us like they're doing in Congress now after this last election, what about that lady up there in Minnesota? She wants to change the rules of Congress just because of her. She wants to be able to wear a headdress in Congress, a hijab. Congress voted a long time ago that there was not any headwear or headgear wearing in Congress because you take your hat off when the flag is present. But she wants to change things. And the stupid, idiot, moron, progressive Congress now is going to allow her to do it. She wants to wear her headdress. Can you believe it? Tell you what, man, you guys need to read the Quran and don't let anybody tell you any different on any of these social media sites. It is a book of evil killing. So is the Jewish Torah, for God's sakes. Read that too. They're killing and chopping people's heads off, raping and murdering and destroying ancient civilizations. The Hebrews left it friggin' right. Just like the goddamn Islamic Muslim horde for 1,400 years. There's no difference. They're all cut from the same freaking rock. When are you guys going to begin to understand that organized religion is to control you? To take what you got. And if you don't give it to them, to slice your head off. Any way they can. You need to read the Quran. Why don't you open up the Hebrew Torah and the Quran and read them page for page? It'll make your friggin' head spin how similar and equal they are. The only difference in Judaism, Christianity came because of a guy named Jesus Christ that people believed was the Messiah, the Son of God. And because of Paul, Saul of Tarsus, and Constantine I and his wife, Christendom started. The marriage of paganism, the Roman Church, and Christendom created Christianity. All of our stuff, our holidays revolving around the Christian ideology, is all paganistic realism. But what Jesus Christ talked about was turning the other cheek, love, peace, forgiveness. The Islamic, Mohammed, Muslim nutcases haven't found their Jesus Christ yet. So this is what kind of crap that comes out of their mouth. Hamas founder says he's willing to send his mother and daughters to a suicide mission. Look at this guy. Oh, you want that guy living in your neighborhood? Dumbo ears? Bad enough having ears like that. My God. But that be Islamic and ugly and having ears like that and telling you send your wife and your daughters to wear suicide bombs? What are you? That's what you want in our country? If you don't watch out, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to get it because the Quran teaches infiltrate from within. Get an enclave in an area. Change the local rules. Change the state rules. Get your people into the politics, into the graces of the king, and then take over from within. I'm telling you, better watch out. Mark my words, I am dead right on this. We are not a Christian nation, and we cannot allow it to become an Islamic nation. Forget freedom of religion. That's not our religion. And neither is Buddhist or Hindi. And I'm sorry. Our religion is Christianity, Judeo-Christian concepts. That's what created this great nation, and that's what created this world. And that's why we have in this world what we have that's good. Because if it wasn't for America, there would be nothing here. There would be any good on God's blue green earth. We'd have dictators, and we'd have fanatics, and we'd have potentates and kings, and we'd have murdering, and we'd have empires, and that's when we'd have slavery, and we would have no middle class. How do I know that for a fact? Because history proves it time and time and time again. Oh, that's right, you guys don't read. Mankind is evil towards itself and others. Given its way, it will, men, women, will hurt you to get what they want. Historically, they always have enslaved everybody. Every empire historically has enslaved the empire they conquered. The friggin' Hebrews did it. The friggin' Muslims did it. When Allah was born, he went and darn near wiped out the whole Persian religion, which was Zoroastrianism, which is the prelude to Christendom. Why don't you guys know this stuff? Oh. Give me a V8. You don't read. Telling you, you don't let those people get a foothold in this country. Russia, China, Iran, and North Korea are working on EMP weapons for devastating attack on U.S. soil. You know what an EMP weapon is? It's an electromagnetic pulse. A nuclear bomb that goes off at 20,000 feet would wipe out every computer and power grid in America for 100 years. You know why? Because we don't make the generators anymore, those big, giant house-sized generators. We used to make those in this country. You know where we make them now? Friggin' China. We only got about a dozen of them in this country. That's it. The military owns most of them. We used to make that here, but we don't make it here because the other crime family, the corporations, the insurance companies, and the banks have sold you out. We had better have the strongest military in the world. Thank you, President Trump, my New York gangster boss. We got to have the soldiers, just like Al Capone did. We have to have the best Tommy gun. Oh, Governor Brown, don't you love that ass wipe? He just signed the bill that the power companies in California can raise your power bill to pay for the fires that they may have just caused. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Self-driving cars are going to turn into having more sex on the highway. Hubba, 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 baby. Yeah, baby. Baby, hubba, hubba, hubba. Porno on the 605. Woo! Yeah. Give it to me, baby. You talk about having a rough ride. Oh, yeah. You know, when that happens, I think I'm going to hire a fleet of self-driving cars. I'm going to buy a fleet, and I'm going to have rolling brothels. Yeah. Hey, thinking out of the box here. Jesse T. Acting A.J. Whitaker, or DOJ, acting DOJ, please go after the Clinton Foundation. Please go after the Obamas. Please go after the Bushes and Comey and Mueller. Please! I don't care what anybody says. Michael Obama is still the guy. I don't care what you say. I don't care what you think of me, what you say, what you think of me when I say that. But Michael is not Michelle. Michelle is still Michael. And President Obama, when he was a senator in Illinois, there are all kinds of reports. Most of these people are dead now because, like the Clinton crime family, the Obama crime family knocks you off if you get too close to the truth. A lot of people die around these people. A lot of people die around. Not too many people died around President Reagan. Huh? Isn't that something? A lot of people died around Bush and Clinton and Obama. Not too many people dying around Trumpster. Huh? I don't care what anybody says. When Clinton was a senator in Illinois, every time he would come back to town, he hired this white guy who was his coke provider. And he'd pick him up at the limo with the limo. The guy wrote a book about it. He was on the talk show circuit. I'll get his name for you, and you can look it up and tell me whether you believe that or not. I tell you, I bet you he's closer to the truth than he's farther away. Whether or not all his words are truthful, I don't know. But he's closer to the truth in the story they give us about this guy. Man, he was getting blowjobs from this guy and coke at the same time when he was a senator. Come on. Look it up. I don't care whether you believe me or not. I don't care whether you think I'm nuts or not. I don't care, because I really don't. I know what's closer to the truth than you. Like me or not, I guess can't help but being me, Jesse T. What can I tell you? Like me or not. I can't help but being me, Jesse T. I call it the way I see it. Whether you agree with me or you don't agree with me, that's your choice. Turn me off if you don't agree with me. Go somewhere else. Drink your beer. Get fat. Watch the big 93-inch Squid TV. Go enjoy yourself in an NFL football game. That's all right. No problem. Drink the bad water. Eat the lousy food. Take the medicine. Get high. Get drunk. And get fat. And get out of shape. Go away. See ya. Don't watch me. Don't listen to me. I don't care. But I bet you this, I'm closer to the truth than farther away. I guarantee you that. I may not be right on, but I'm a lot closer. Oh, I know what some of y'all say about me. And that's okay. You have a right to do that. You live in this here country called America, baby. Yeah. And that's okay. How come Trump can throw a guy out of the press corps, but this guy Obama, when he threw people out of the press corps, and Biden and Clinton did, they don't get in trouble for it? Don't you see the double standard, guys? I'm about ready to change to the Gray Ghost here and go work out. It's getting to be about 11 o'clock. I got fitness training today and run a couple of miles and some stretching. So it's going to be a good workout. I'm really looking forward to it. Got back on the training scene last night late, and I just felt so good, man. Energetic today. So I'm going to get back to it. We're winning again, man. Trump signs a new order ending automatic citizenship for children born in the U.S. Finally! Thank you. Looks like Torrero and his wife are splitting apart for the second time. Yeah, who wants to be married to that crotchety old man? Hey, we're winning again. Trump gave up his money, his paycheck, to help the infrastructure. We're winning again. Our F-35s just blew away the Chinese and Russian planes that they say have been equal to it because we got better and badder technology, man. We're winning again. Trump is encouraging supply chains to leave China. Those are the supply chains that China controls to some degree, to leave China. Why not? They're jacking the price up on us on the tariffs. They need us more than we need them. Always remember that. They need us more than we need them. I believe that in 20 years from now, China's going to take over the world economy. It's inevitable. The population is just going to happen. You can't beat population in mathematics. They're going to take over the world economy. They're going to have more money. They're going to be part of the International Monetary Currency Reserve, which they already are, but they'll take over the U.S. dollar, and the yuan will be the International Monetary Currency Reserve, because the IMF is owned by the Vatican and the Rothschilds and the global elitists and the progressive commie socialists. One world, one bank, new order people, and they own China and they own Russia, okay, and they own everybody, but they don't own you and they don't own me, and that's what they want to. They want to own you and me, because with owning the middle class of America, then they begin the conquest of the world, and that's eliminating about half of the people on the planet Earth through depopulation that Bill Gates and Rockefeller are already been doing, and some of these depopulation people like George Soros. They want to do that. They want to get rid of us. They don't need us anymore with AI intelligence coming down the road, robotics and automation. They don't need you anymore. They don't need you to do things anymore. That's the bottom line. So if they don't need you, they can't be taking care of you. So they got to get rid of you. Off your head. There it goes, rolling down the road in directions that nobody knows. And nobody's going to really care anyway, because you're going to be looking at 2 or 3 generations from now, and they won't know any difference. They're only going to know what they know. That's what they're going to know, and so they're not going to know any difference, and that's the way it is. So I believe that China is going to be number 1. I believe that there will be number 2 in about 2030. Will be number 2, and India will be number 3, because they're exploding fast. Then what's going to happen by 2050, 2060? I'll be 100 years old if I'm still willing. God willing. What's going to happen then is this: India is going to take over China. China is going to fall into the secondary position, and America will fall into the 3rd position. And that's the way it's going to be, because the Indians are smarter, they speak English, and they have the English crime family behind them. The king, queen, whoever it's going to be at that time, and the monarchy system, and the Bank of England, and the City of London, which is connected to the Vatican, which is connected to the Rothschilds, which are connected to the New World Order globalists. Simple and sweet. They own India. And India is got more people and will have more people than China will by 2030. If Truman wasn't such a pussy, he would have let General MacArthur attack China, take him down, and we'd have a country in China that would be democratic like Japan. If Truman wasn't such a pussy, if FDR and Truman weren't such sissies, they would have let Patton take the German army and all our boys and girls there, attack Russia, and we would have overthrown Russia, and we would have a democratic government. They killed Patton and they retired MacArthur. And MacArthur was right. Thus, Patton would have been right too, because those two guys understood history and understood what was happening, what the real war was about in World War II. Hey, that's a picture of me directing a music video. You didn't know I do that? Yes. I direct things too. Yes. It's easy. You do that, you do this, you do that. I like that color, I like that sound, I like that shadow. Yeah, okay, let's do that. Okay, boom, bam, action. Last night, Dan the Man and I snuck in to the Kirk Douglas Award, where honorary Hugh Jackman is. I got that interview with Hugh Jackman and Ben, Mendelsohn, J.K. Sims, and Jason Reitman up there on my Facebook page at facebook.com/Jesse Torrero. And Dan the Man and I snuck into the party. Yeah. Couple of more things, and I got to go work out. The globalists will continue to flood people into every free country until each country collapses. It's not happening by accident. Go Mexico! Go Mexicans! Beat some ass! Get those people out of your country, Mexicans! I back you 100%! Oh, maybe you people really want to have a socialist communist nation. Yeah, look at this guy. That's Mao. If you don't know who he is, he killed about 100 million of his own people. But college students like this think having socialism and communism is good. Are Americans, are we just born with the dumb gene? Oh, did you know the Quran says to kill everyone who is not a Muslim? It says it over 150 times. The DHS is reporting that over 500 of that caravan, that invasion, those invaders that are getting their ass whooped, hopefully, in Mexico, are MS-13 members. Oh, how nice that would be. And you feel sorry for them? Oh, the little woman, the little girl. You know, most of them are ages 18 to 35, men, single. Yeah. There's I'm going to call her Habib Jane. Habib Jane. Habajaba Jane. Habajaba Jane. Habajaba Jane. That's who she is now. Our tariffs are working on China. They're coming to the tables of trade talks at the G20. Watch. Trump ain't no dummy, man. Guys are just putting you up to think that. History never taught you, did they? They never taught you this one. History that is never taught in the schools today. The first 23 black senators were all Republicans. Republicans! Okay, guys. That's it for the Jesse T Show. I got to go train. I got fitness today. I got to put my fitness routine together. And I got to get to it. It's 11:51. Oh my goodness, is it 10:51? It's 11 o'clock. Hey, the Jesse T Show tomorrow live in the studio at KTNT Radio and TV. We're broadcasting now from the Grey Ghost, and they'll be live in the studio tomorrow. We're not going to have any guests. Our guests canceled on us because of Thanksgiving following the next day. Everybody's traveling. They forgot about Thanksgiving. So, but I'll be in the studio having some fun and going over what's coming up here on the Jesse T Show for next month and having a great time. Cy Richardson is just checked in with us. Hey, Cy, good buddy of mine. Saying hi to Jesus Rivera, Clark Tang, Lorraine. Hey, Clark, man, I got to roll with Sifu Samuel Kwok. It was fun. Mindy Furlong, Spears, RJ Johnson. I like RJ's name. Haven't talked to you in a while, RJ. Arian McClang, Lady Lelaine, Medina Reed, congratulations on your competition. Nancy Thompson, Kaffer, Gwen Legge, Frank Valvo, and Del Bird, baby. That's right. Hey, thanks a lot, guys. And you have a great night, and I'm going to go train on the Jesse T Show, always to bring it to you. Sometimes a little bit late, but I just want to kind of go over stuff. Just stuff. Okay? Thanks a lot. Have a great one. On there and everywhere, from the community to the world, it's the brown beauty who's always on duty. It's the Jesse T Show. Me, of course, being me. I can't help but being me, Jesse T. Love you guys. See ya.